Good morning, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started now. Okay, great. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us this morning for the Zen PHP 5 certification webinar. So this is a quick agenda on what we're going to cover during this webinar. I'm going to give you a little background on the Zen Certified Engineer program, give you a little insight into the steps on becoming a ZCE, and what to do once you're certified. So my name is Beth Gomez, and I have been responsible for training and certification programs at Zen since July 2007, and I really enjoy my job here at Zen. And this is my first webinar, so I'm really excited. Here are some quick facts about Zen certified engineers. Right now, there are approximately 3,000 Zen certified engineers, and hopefully after today, there'll be 3,050 or 60 or so. These statistics come from Pearson VUE. They offer, Pearson VUE is the testing center, and they give us statistics based on polls they offer people after the test. So 100% were satisfied with their Zen PHP certification exam, 98% would recommend it to others, and 77% have already recommended Zen PHP certification to others. So let's just get started here. Why would you want to be a ZCE? The goal of the Zen Certified program is to set a standard for PHP programming skills. And the idea is that employers looking for qualified developers can easily identify that you are a qualified engineer. And so the ZCE is really a recognition of your PHP skills. One of the other bonuses, obviously you want some bonuses as being a ZCE, is that we give you discounts on Zen PHP conferences. You can put the ZCE logo on your resume, and you can add it to your business cards. And we've also recently started a group for ZCEs on LinkedIn. So these are just a few of the things that happen once you become a ZCE. So what does certification really mean? A certification exam measures specific skills, knowledge, and competencies from a well-defined domain content. So that means that you have achieved a certain level of competency and in a particular topic, and the certification is just a recognition that you have achieved that competency level. The certification is not that you can pass a test, but that you are competent in the subject matter that's being tested. So the skills and knowledge certified by the exam represent a professional level of expertise for a certified individual. And this is really what employers are looking for, is that you are, by becoming a ZCE, we are saying you are competent as a professional in PHP development. So certification exams establish industry-wide standards that recognizes expertise in a specific domain of content. So for Zen, through the ZCE, Zen sets the industry standard for PHP developers. So the ZCE exam is a lot like other certification programs, like the Red Hat Certified Engineer program or the Microsoft certification program. We specifically developed the PHP certification so that employers would be able to associate a level of skills to PHP developers and set a standard for the community. So the ZCE. The exam was started in 2004 with the PHP 4, and it was released at OSCON. But since then, we've upgraded to the not upgraded, but we've released the PHP 5 version of the exam. So the PHP 4 version of the exam is no longer offered, and however, the title, then Certified Engineer, does not ever expire. So the PHP 5 certification was released in September 2005, and it was based on PHP 5.1. It's a completely new exam, new questions, and some old topics were removed. Started with the Education Advisory Board members, and you can see them here. They helped to develop the exam, the questions themselves, and the criteria for saying what topics should be covered on the exam, what subtopics should be covered, and what the scoring should look like. So part of the reason why we have the Education Advisory Board was that originally the PHP 4 exam was, the mantra was, by the community, for the community. So when the PHP 5 exam was developed, we wanted to continue with the same idea. So you probably recognize some of these names. And in addition to the advisory board members, we brought on a couple of professional psychometricians, and what they do is analyze the exam so that it meets with legal and industry certification standards. So it is a legal certification. So now that you know a little bit about the creation of the exam and a little bit about certification, I'm going to address the steps for becoming a ZCE. How to study for the test, how to take the test, and what happens afterwards. The test is composed of 70 randomly generated questions. You have 90 minutes to answer the questions. The questions cover the 12 topic areas, and they vary in degree from, easy to difficulty, and they cover all 12 topic areas that were set forth by the Education Advisory Board. The exam is completely neutral, and it specifically excludes all references to Zend products. Here they are, the 12 exam topic areas. It starts off with PHP basics, embedding PHP, variables, constants, all the way to loops, functions, declaring functions, function parameters, references, scope, variable functions, arrays, creating, filling, splitting, adding and removing elements, all the way to merging. PHP and OOP. Classes, properties, methods, static properties, methods, inheritance, abstract classes, interfaces, auto-loading, and reflection. Excuse me. Strings and regex, substrings, comparing and counting strings, all the way to regex essentials. PHP 4 to 5 differences between object-oriented programming and other areas. Design and theory, design patterns, active record, factory, iterator, MVC, proxy, and singleton. Files, networks, resources, output files, all the way to wrappers and streams. Web features including HTTP post and get, accessing form data, file uploads, cookies, XML and web services, XML, SOAP, WSDL, all the way down to debugging, databases, keys, SQL, sorting, grouping, joins, and then security, rules, XSS, and injection sessions, secure configurations, and uploads. So these are the 12 topic areas that were set forth by the Education Advisory Board as the areas of study and competency that you needed to achieve a ZCE. So I'm going to talk just a minute about the types of questions that are actually on the exam. One of the types of questions that's actually covered on the exam are multiple choice type questions. There are two different types of multiple choice questions. There's multiple choice questions where only one answer is correct, and then multiple choice questions where two answers are correct. So this is an example of, these examples come from the PHP 5 certification study class that's offered by Zend. These are not actual test exam questions, but they're very similar. So this is a sample of one answer is correct, multiple choice. Give just a minute to guess, to see if you can guess which one is right before I reveal the answer. Ready? Here it comes. So the next type of question is the multiple choice. Two answers are correct. So this question, I'll reveal the possible choices now. It's actually multiple choice that can be two or more answers correct. So make sure that when you're reading the questions, you really look for what they're asking for. So here come the possible answers. I'm going to go ahead and reveal the answer now. So there you go. Those are how the multiple choice questions look like. They're, one tip on answering multiple choice questions is if you're not sure of the answer, just make sure that you, if you have to guess, eliminate any choices that you know are incorrect before finalizing an answer. There are no penalties for wrong answers. So you want to make sure when you're taking the exam to complete all of the questions, even if you're not sure, take a really good guess because you might just get it right. So the next type of question that's covered on the exam is called free text. So what this kind of question is, and it's often written this way, what is the output of the following code? And it'll give you some code example, and you have to write down what the actual result is. So I'll give you a second to think about this one. I'm going to go ahead and reveal the answer now. So this is how the free text questions work. They give you the question and you have to come up with the answer. Again, if you're not sure what the answer is, make sure you complete what you think the answer is, because there is no penalty for wrong answers. So these are some of the resources available for studying to prepare for the exam. The PHP 5 Certification Study Guide. This is available as a book or a PDF, and you can buy those from the Zen.com store. We also have mock exams. They are available as a single exam. You can just buy one if you just want to get a feeling for how you are doing, or they come in 5 packs or 10 packs. The 10-pack is really the best value for your money, and you can get a lot of practice in. They're online, so you can take them anytime. They list, because the exam has a 90-minute time limit, the mock exams do show you the clock and how long it's taking you to actually complete the exam, but there is no time limit. It won't cut you off at 90 minutes like the real exam will. The real exam will stop you at 90 minutes, so you have to make sure that you can complete the 70 questions in that amount of time. Finally, Zend offers an online PHP 5 certification training class. This is a test preparation course. It does not teach PHP. I want to make that really clear. It gives you tips and strategies on how to best answer questions, and it also gives you an in-depth review of the 12 topic areas, but it is not a language course. It is a test preparation course. So a couple of other quick things I wanted to mention about the exam is you do not have to code on large portions of the exam. Just those free text answer questions like I gave you. You do not have to memorize the PHP manual. You must be able to analyze PHP code, and that's really important when it comes to those free text answers. And you must know the important PHP functions. So another question that I often get when it comes to PHP 5 certification is, how do you know when you're ready? So if after you've picked up the study guide and taken a couple of mock exams and you feel like you're comfortable with the 12 topic areas, it's probably a good time for you to take the exam. There's no set amount of programming experience required for the exam. So if you pick up the language very quickly and it's easy for you and you've taken a mock exam and you feel like you did really well on it, then you're probably ready to take the exam. And some people, it takes them a little bit longer. So you should have about intermediate level skills, but it really depends from person to person on when you're actually ready. But the general guideline is, if you've studied, you're familiar with the 12 topic areas, then you're probably ready to take the exam. So, what's it like to actually sit down and take the test? The test is administered at a Pearson VUE training center, and there are over 3,500 worldwide. You can register for the exam via telephone, email, and online. You can go ahead and register online for the exam as well. I forgot to mention that here. In some places. So you want to check online to see if you can register there. If not, if your locality won't let you register online, the phone numbers are listed by the exam center's name. Please make sure that you bring 2 forms of ID. The Pearson VUE requires that you bring one ID with a photo and a signature, and the other ID must have your signature on it. So it's really important to make sure you bring these, or you will not be able to sit down and take the exam. Finally, you cannot bring anything in the exam room with you. Pearson VUE will give you scratch paper or an erasable noteboard for your calculations when you take the test. You will be required to turn these in to the proctor after the exam. And you're not permitted to bring anything with you. So no pencils, no pens, no cell phones. Generally, if you have some personal items, the testing center will provide a place for you to secure those before you take your test. The tests are monitored either by webcam or in person. The test is given on a computer, but it is not available online. You have to physically go to a test center to take the exam. So once you sit down and you've given your ID and you're sitting down and taking the test, what's the software like? So it runs you through a series of questions, do the test, and you can answer them. And next to each box is a place for you to mark whether you want to review the question. You want to make sure once you finish the exam, you've gone through all the questions once, you get a summary screen at the end that shows you the questions that you marked for review. Then you can go back to those questions and review them before you actually submit your test. There's another option available on the screen, and it's mark your questions for comment. This is if you want to enter a comment and have those comments communicated back to Zen. So if you didn't like the question, you didn't understand it, or you wanted to give some specific feedback to us about the questions, make sure you mark it for comment so that you can go ahead and get those comments back to us. So once you've marked the comments for review, like I said, you get a review screen so you can navigate back to those questions before you actually submit your test. So if you have some time remaining, you're going to want to go back and review some questions if you at all had any concerns about them. And finally, once you submit your results, once you submit your exam, the results are pretty much instantly there. You'll immediately get your test result, and it will come out as a pass, no pass scoring. And if you don't pass, you'll receive feedback on how you did in each of the topic areas from weak to strong. So that'll give you an indication of where you are on those particular levels. If you pass, you pass. There's no specific score report. So what do you want to do after you pass? Well, we would like you to take advantage of your ZCE status. Download the Zen Certified Engineer logo and put it on your business cards and resume. Take advantage of the LinkedIn group that allows you to display the ZCE logo on your listing for better visibility to potential employers. Update your PHP Yellow Pages listing so employers can verify that you are a ZCE. Keep your score report so that employers can also verify your status as a ZCE from Pearson VUE. Pearson VUE has a watermarking feature that allows you to go and watermark your exam results so that anyone you show your score report to will know that it's a valid result. And they can also, employers can go back to Pearson VUE and enter your registration number to verify that you actually passed the test. So once you pass the exam, your test results are submitted back to Zen, and then in about 4 to 6 weeks after that, you should receive in the mail a printed certificate, an official printed certificate from Zen, along with a letter that tells you how to join the LinkedIn group and PHP Yellow Pages. If once you're all certified and if you don't receive your letter within 4 to 6 weeks, I would encourage you to email me at certification@zen.com to make sure that you are able to take advantage of all of the opportunities that come with the ZCE. So at this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and allow people for questions. We'll go ahead and enter your questions into the Q&A panel, and I will go ahead and answer them that way. Couple of quick questions that always come up that I just wanted to address quickly is that what is next for PHP certification, Zen certification? So we update the VCE certification with each version of the language. So just as we created the PHP 4 VCE exam, we created the PHP 5 certification exam. So once the next level of PHP comes out, PHP 6, we'll then offer a new exam. And the way the PHP 5 exam works is that if you were competent and you passed the PHP 4 exam, that will help you pass the PHP 5 exam. So the same thing should be true when we create the next exam. So if you get your PHP 5 exam certification now, that will help you get the PHP 6 one when it comes out. So go ahead and type your questions into the Q&A box, and I will answer them as quickly as I can. Thank you all for your time this morning, and I hope that the information was worthwhile. I'm going to just post here a couple of links that are helpful. This is a link to the website where you can find a list of the topic areas, as well as where you can email me directly, certification@zen.com. So I see in the question area that a lot of people are asking what is the passing marks on the exam. So the scoring was determined by the Educational Advisory Board, and it's a pass, no pass system. Just like when you go to college and you take a class, you either pass the class because you are competent in the subject matter revealed there, or you don't pass. So that's the way that the scores are decided. So it's really along the way of like your driver's test. You can either drive or you can't. You can either you're either a PHP, you've achieved a level of PHP knowledge, or you haven't. There's no like you're an exceptional or you're just sort of mediocre. It's either you have achieved a skill level in PHP to say that you're certified, or you maybe, if you didn't pass, you need to go back and study a little bit more, gain some more experience, come back and get certified so that you can say that you have achieved the level that was set forth by the Educational Advisory Board. I hope that helps to answer some of those questions about the passing grade. There's a new edition of the study guide out. If you already have the first version of the study guide and you bought the PDF version from Zen, you can go back to your pickup depot and re-download the PDF, and you will get the second edition of the PDF. The second edition of the book is not, the actual physical paperback is not out yet, but if you bought the PDF and book version, you can go back to your MyZen account, log in, and re-download the PDF, and you will get the second version. If by chance you didn't pass the exam the first time, you can email certification@zen.com, and we will email you back a discount code so that you can retake the exam at a discount. So for Adrienne, who's asking about Bucharest, Romania, if you go online to pearsonview.com, you can choose the area that you live in, and they should list the specific testing centers in your area. and that's probably the easiest way for you to go ahead and find out where those are located. When I see your note here about feedback on the exam when you're strong and weakened, you only get that kind of feedback if you do not pass the exam. If you pass, you have reached the level where they don't reveal where you're strong and weakened. It's just you've passed, you're competent, a PHP developer. You only get the feedback so that you know when and where to go study some more. Sometimes with the practice exam, it gives you the feedback on where you are on certain levels. I would say that if you failed in 2 categories, that you may need to go back and relook at those categories and those topic areas and study a little bit more and then come back and take it again. We generally say that if you have passed several of the mock exams, it is likely that you should pass the ZCE. So the mock exams are built a lot like the real exams. So if you can take a couple of mock exams and pass those, it'll help you get comfortable with the whole testing, the way the questions are written, and also the best thing is experience in PHP, and knowing the 12 topic areas is really what's going to help you pass the exam. There are no minimum number of questions that you should be attempted to qualify. You should attempt to answer all of the questions, because if you don't attempt to answer all of the questions, you probably won't pass the exam. It's only 70 questions, so you really should try. Even if you're not sure of the answer, you should really try to answer every question or put down an answer. Even if it's your best guess, it's better than leaving it blank. So Venga asks here about any other books or resources except for the PHP 5 Certification Study Guide. There are the mock exams, which I mentioned, which are a great way to help prepare you for what the exam is actually like when you take it. We also have a certification course that is offered online with a live instructor. That is a test preparation course, so that might be another good way for you to get some additional study materials. To Cyril's question about the PHP 6 exam availability, I cannot speak to that because PHP 6 is not even released yet. So generally, what happens is after the upgrade to PHP 6, there will be a PHP 6 certification, but it won't be until after the release of PHP 6, and I don't have a specific timeline on that. The practice tests are similar to the real test in that you get 70 questions. It's on a 90-minute time limit. It has the same kind of questions, both multiple choice with 1 answer, multiple choice with 2 answers, as well as the free text answers. They also do give you the feedback after on which areas you're strong and weakened, so that you know where to go and concentrate your studies, or areas that you might want to review again before actually attempting the real test. The actual exam is 90 minutes long, and I know that there's always before you want to take a certification test, because it really does mean something to you professionally and personally to take the ZCE exam. So the best advice I can give is, if you studied, you're really comfortable with the 12 topic areas, you've taken a few mock exams, it's time to attempt the real test. I would really encourage people to really look at the 12 topic areas, and that will give you a really good idea of, if you're really knowledgeable in those areas, that you're ready to take the exam. Well, I hope that everybody had their questions answered today, and I hope you are go out there and study those 12 topic areas, and I know that I'll be seeing some of your names cross my desk as you pass the exam, because I'm confident that if you know those areas and you study, you'll be able to pass the exam. So feel free to email me at certification@zen.com if you have any questions, and if you have any questions about what was included in my presentation, or any other questions that maybe I didn't address in the Q&A, please feel free to email me. And thank you for spending some time this morning with me. I'll hang out for a few more minutes and answer the last few questions, but thank you again for your time. The test is limited to the 12 topic areas. They're listed on the website, so if you go to zen.com/en/services/certification, they are listed right there. Both the topics and the subtopics are listed there. So hopefully that'll give you an idea of the what you need to study. Okay, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and take off here, but I have all your questions, and feel free again to email me at certification@zen.com if you have any additional questions. Thanks a lot.